This is Unit 2, Lesson 2, all about measurement for science. And so here are our guiding questions. What system of measurement should scientists use? What is distance and how do we measure it? What is mass and how do we measure it? And what is volume and how do we measure it? Okay, so what system of measurement do scientists use? This is a map of the world, and here is a breakdown of the different major measurement systems. And so here you could see the blue is the metric system, metric or mainly metric. So most of the world uses the metric system. The United States, we use the United States customary system, and it's us all by ourselves. So this is the United States customary. Yards, inches, miles, cups, pints, quarts, most of the things that you would measure things with. If you're talking about weight, you talk about pounds. If you're talking about volume, you'd use quarts or gallons or ounces. But in science, we do not use it. And so this year we're going to try to make the switch away from those things. So we're not going to use inches, we're going to use meters. So what should we use? It's called the SI units. It's International System of Units. That's what SI stands for. It's French, so it's like Système International. But it's a variation of the metric system used by scientists all over the world. So no matter where you are in the world, if you're doing science, you should use these units. And some of these are familiar and some of these are not. Most of these we will not use this year. We will use seconds. We will use meters. We will use grams or kilograms. And there's some that aren't on here. We'll talk about this. For temperature, it's actually a unit called Kelvin, but we will use Celsius, and so it can be confusing. So here are the units we'll use. This is an overview. If we're measuring distance, we're going to use meters, and that is M. Mass is going to be gram, G. Volume is liter or cubic centimeter. I'm trying to move myself, which is cm cubed. So if you remember that in math, finding volume, we'll do that. Okay, so let's get into it. So distance, that is the distance, is the length between 2 points, one position to another position. We will use a meter stick or a ruler or a tape measure. The big thing is we are going to use units that have meter in it. And that is a different way of spelling it, but it's the same thing. So we'll use centimeters, cm, meters, m, kilometers, km. Anything that is based on the meter, we will use. So how do we measure with this? I have a very good help video that goes into a lot of detail. I'm just going to kind of show you, but then if you're confused, that other video will help be very clear. So the important thing to know is that 1 meter, a meter stick, I don't have it with me, but a meter stick is 100 centimeters. There are 100 centimeters in a meter stick. Each centimeter, so here is 1 centimeter, has 10 millimeters. Okay, so for this is like to 4 centimeters right here. From here, if you see my mouse, to here, there are 10 millimeters. And so the taller lines are what we're counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, because it is of 10, then it is 0.1 centimeter. So this would be 0 centimeters, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 10, which is 0, after 0.9 is 1.0. So that's 1 centimeter. So each centimeter has 10 millimeters or 0.1 centimeters. So here's an example. If we want to know this line, the length of this line, it goes all the way to here. So it goes past 2, and it goes 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 centimeters, which is the same as if this is, so there's 10 millimeters here, 10 millimeters here. So this is 20 millimeters, 21, 22, 23. So I have here, it's 2.3 centimeters, which is 23 millimeters. I have a lot of practice for this if you're not sure how to do this. Next is mass. That's the amount of matter in an object. And we are going to use a scale, so it's pretty simple. It's a digital scale. The big thing is to make sure that the unit has a G, because that stands for grams. Volume is the amount of space something takes up. And so we'll use a graduated cylinder or a beaker. We can also use a ruler, and I'll show you that in the next slide. So the unit that we'll use for these would be milliliters. You can see here it has ml, so this has 500 milliliters in it. This one only goes up to 100 milliliters. And reading a graduated cylinder is something we need to practice a little bit. So It can help you measure liquid volumes. How do you read it? So right here, if you could see that the liquid goes up to this mark. And so this is a little bit bigger here. Now, when you look at this, there's no number 70 right here. You have to imply that because it goes from 60 to 80. So what's in between 60 and 80 is 70. So then each little line would be counting. If you try to count by ones, it's 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. That's not the right scale. That's what this says. Determine the scale. So what if we count by two? So 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, that's the right scale. Then you just check that it made sense, which I just showed you. And so again, I have another help video with this. We'll practice it a lot. You can also find if you have a regular solid, so it has certain sides, you can use these equations, which is math, which is fun. And then most objects are irregular in shape. So not everything that you have, so like this little dinosaur, you can't measure length times width times height. But if it's small enough, we can use a different technique to find its volume. And it's called the displacement method. So here we have water in a graduated cylinder. And we know that this water is 4.2, 4.4, 4.6, 4.8 milliliters. Okay. Then we add in, so find the initial volume. You add in the object, and then you find the final volume. Okay. And so then you count up what that would be. And then you subtract the two, and that difference, so from here to here, that is the volume of your object. We'll practice that too. So here's a bird doing the displacement method. Okay, so practice makes perfect. Do the stations, do the worksheets. If you need help, watch the other videos or ask me for help, and I'd be happy to show you.